It is a beautiful Monday afternoon, last day of June, June 30th, 2025 at Rochelle, Illinois at 4:25 p.m. We just saw a real hot BNSF Railway Intermodal headed from their intermodal facility at Cicero, Illinois, not far west of Chicago, I believe to South Seattle, Washington, over their northern transcon. And I believe that's a real hot one for the BNSF. I think every trailer and container has a guaranteed arrival time at South Seattle, Washington. Otherwise, BNSF Railway pays penalty to the shipper. The railroad is the BNSF Railway Aurora Subdivision. Aurora is in this direction. We're looking toward Aurora, Illinois, and Chicago, Illinois. Originally the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad. The other railroad is the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision. Geneva, Illinois is a point in this direction looking toward Chicago. Originally the Chicago and Northwestern Railway, and thus there is left-hand running. Now we have an eastbound Union Pacific train coming out of their Global 3 yard. Just in the distance is their Global 3 yard. No longer an intermodal facility, just used for block swapping of intermodal trains and some interchange traffic, some manifest interchange traffic with the BNSF Railway. Well, it is now 4:35 p.m. and we just doubled our pleasure. We saw the South Seattle, Washington bound BNSF Railway Intermodal. Now we saw an eastbound Union Pacific Railroad Intermodal coming out of their Global 3 yard just behind me, doing some block swapping of intermodal cars. I'm sure he originated at Long Beach, Port of Long Beach, or Los Angeles, California. He's headed to the Union Pacific Railroad Global 2 intermodal facility at Northlake, Illinois, not far west of Chicago, Illinois. In the distance is the Rochelle Railroad Park. More about that a little bit later. It's 85 degrees Fahrenheit right now. And let's have a look at CPY 075 Rochelle. That's the control box for this diamond crossing of the BNSF Railway Aurora Subdivision and the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision. Once upon a time there was a signal interlocking tower at the spot owned by the Chicago Northwestern Railroad before the C&NW became the Union Pacific Railroad. The 075, that means it's 75 miles probably from their Union Pacific Proviso Yard in Melrose Park, Illinois. And population of Rochelle, Illinois here is 9,446. It's known as the hub city because the Lincoln Highway running east and west now, Illinois Route 38 intersects one of the first highways running the full north-south length of the USA. And of course we have here the intersection of the Union Pacific Railroad main line and the BNSF railway line between Chicago and Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington, also known as the Northern Transcon. And the Rochelle Railroad Park we zoomed in on is the first in the nation built just for visitors to see operating trains, dedicated by the city of Rochelle on August 30th, 1998. Again, a beautiful Monday afternoon, June 30th, 2025, Rochelle, Illinois, over and out.